Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. How is everybody today? We're doing two Linux Mint videos today. I do want to look at the Linux Mint and 32-bit issue from the June blog, and that's something I wanted to cover when I was away for a week, but yeah, time just kind of ran away from me. Oh no, I don't have my thing paused. There we are. Now we're paused. Whoops, almost had some audio feedback. That's not good. Alright, but that being said, we will also going to have a look at Linux Mint Beta. We're going to do the beta first simply because, well, you know, I already have the title screen set up for that one. So, with that being said, let's see who is here. Robertson, how's it going there? I don't speak that language. Lemler, how's it going there? Greetings to you. How long since the last Mint upgrade? Been a few months, not super long, but not super short either. Ricky, how's it going there? Not too much going on this way, and FairNOS is on. Yeah, FairNOS just got Twitter's new website. You guys got Twitter's new website redesign yet on your accounts? Do you like it or not like it? I'm kind of neutral. I'm not sure it's an improvement, but I don't really think it takes us backwards either. So, I don't know, maybe after I'll use it a little bit. Once I start going to the side to post a new tweet instead of going to the top, I'll be happy with it. But, you know, that's the way it is. Ben Fitzpatrick, how's it going there, Ben? Greetings, greetings. All right, looked at a couple Linux Mint 19.2 videos on YouTube, but they were demonstrations with no voice. I hate those videos. I can't stand them at all. Let's see. Yes, Houston, we have liftoff. KO2610, hello there. Greetings to you. Jonathan's grabbing some coffee. Cheers to you. By the way, you can buy your own Switch to Linux coffee mugs in a variety of different forms at shop.switchetolinux.com if you are interested in grabbing a coffee cup. I also have nice, similar stainless steel water bottles. All right, and Roger says roar. The kitty says zzz, because he's been sleeping in that same spot all day. I should poke him, see if he's alive. Are you alive, little kitty? I know he's alive because, you know, I came up with a couple pieces of ham earlier today, and he was all over that. Richard Addison, how's it going there? Uh-oh, lost my way in my comments. My comments. There we are. Watching on Linux Mint 19.2 beta, so far no problems. Very good, very good. Yeah, I don't anticipate seeing too many problems. They are pretty much usually really good when they get stuff up and running. Brennan Brown, hello to you. Got the coffee, now you're ready. All right, greetings, Cat Gamer. Meow to you. FairNOS Next Plasma. Okay, so there's a to-do list for FairNOS Plasma. Thomas Holt, greetings. I missed you and CJ last week. Yes, why thank you. I tried to get as many videos up as I could, but yeah, no, it's a lot of videos. So I'm back. This kitty is back, and the kitty's not on vacation right now. I mean, really, he's just kind of, see, he still hasn't moved. Should I see if he's awake? Yep, he's awake. He's like, what? Already? No, kitty, go back to sleep. All right, not yet. Have you had any troubles running Ryzen, C+, or AMD graphics? No, I have not. Actually, the Mint 19.2, though, it does include the kernel 5.0, so if you do have one of the more recent Ryzens, you need to run the latest kernel. You actually have that as an option. We'll show you where all that stuff is when we get it in there. Rosemary McLeod, how's it going there? Greetings to you. Was watching Stranger Things. Hello. All right, Lord Charles. Yes, me lord. How's it going there? Can you add the link to the shop? Yes, you want to go to shop.switchedtolinux.com, and that is also in the description. So you can always check out all of the ways to help support the channel down there. Also, I have Patreon, patreon.com/TomM. And I have my own personal support channel, which is called thinklifemedia.com. Anybody at $5 or more on those can get access to my ebooks and audiobooks. And I'll get that Happy Holidays audiobook up soon. I do write Christian stuff, so it may not be your forte, your cup of tea, but if it is, you can grab those. And I will actually have some non-Christian books coming down the pipeline eventually. I have to work on this series, get those done. And we have a huge rainstorm coming through, so hopefully we don't lose internet, but that's all right. We'll see what happens. Cross that road when we come to it. All right, let's go ahead and jump on over to our Linux Mint stuff. Let me grab some coffee. Let me cough a little bit, and then I will start the recording and get going. All right, got that out of my system. Good. All right, where do I need to go? We need our title, and I'm going to want the web browser view queued up. Welcome back to Switched to Linux. Well, today we're going to have a quick look at the Linux Mint 19.2 beta. This has been released in all of the flavors that they have. So their flagship Cinnamon, XFCE, and Mate. So you can actually head on over to the Linux Mint blog, blog.linuxmint.com. Grab the download links for whatever version you would like, and you can read through all of the release notes. Now, the one we're going to look at here is the Cinnamon release notes, and we will boot this up into a virtual machine and kind of show you the things that are the same, things that are different. A lot of the things you're going to see are going to be the same. Your primary changes are surround the updates, the kernels, and then there's a few other really good Cinnamon things that they have dropped in. So we'll actually kind of go through this list, not right now, but we will kind of go through this list as we are actually plugging through, and I have my notes here, so we will be in good shape. Now, overall, this is going to ship with Cinnamon 4.2, so we have a little bit of an update to the latest Cinnamon. The default kernel is 4.15, but you have options to go up to 5 and I think 4.18 maybe. We'll look at that. And of course, this is based on the Ubuntu 18.04 LTS. So let's go on over and have a look at our login here. So we are installed into a virtual machine. The first major thing we see in a virtual machine is instead of the upper corner first initial notification is it's actually going to tell us that we are loading into, instead of saying loading into software rendering mode, it instead tells us to check your video drivers because it's running without video hardware acceleration. So you have the option right here to launch your driver manager. You do need your password for that. And when this guy loads up, it's going to update the cache and then check your system for any drivers that could be installed. Now, this is the same method if you're having issues with your Wi-Fi card or anything else on your system. Boot up this driver manager and see. Now, of course, if it's your Wi-Fi card, you'll have to get internet to your computer some other way. One of those very well, let's go ahead and install this guy. One of these guys very well may be plugging in your phone and bridging the internet connection from your phone. Another option might be using a wireless USB dongle, or if you have an Ethernet port on your computer. Or, hey, this is Linux and it's portable. Take the hard drive out, drop it into a computer that does have an Ethernet cable, and you are good to go. I don't actually want to restart the computer right now. I want to get into the video. So if we were to boot this back up, it's going to load up with hardware acceleration. It probably would work a little bit snappier, but I haven't actually noticed any real degradation here. Now, of course, we are greeted with the welcome screen, and we get into our first steps. Our first steps is it's something that you would be familiar with, and nothing here has changed. Setting up system snapshots, running your driver manager, update manager, desktop layout, system settings, etc. You will notice, wow, that scroll bar is huge. Yes, that is one of the new options. Some people were complaining about the size of the scroll bar, so they added the option to toggle that. So I played with it and made it really big. I will show you how to do that. And that will not apply to absolutely everything, but most things. So I literally even think it'll work on like Firefox as well. So let's go ahead and boot this guy up, and let's just go ahead and there you go. You can see the scroll bar is really big on Firefox as well. Looks like we do have a very new version of Firefox installed here. I can kind of tell from the little user notification over here. So 67. So yeah, brand new. Of course, this is Linux Mint always tweaks their own Firefox as well. Some people have hated that over the years. I don't really care about it. All right. Now, for whatever reason, I'm not getting my update thing is not showing there. I'm not sure why. That is something that I've been running this in testing for a little while now, and this is the first time I have not seen the update notification. So anyway, here is our update manager, and one of the major changes is if you come down here and view your Linux kernels. It does give you this warning sign. I generally recommend not tinkering with your kernels because that can cause some issues. But if you are allowable to go through this, and of course you can check the box, you'll see we have 4.15, which is actually the default, 4.18, and 5.0. I switched this kernel over to 5.0. The other major thing is it tells us how long they're supported to. So 5.0 is supported until February 2020, so I got 6 months on that. I can go over here, supported until August 2019, and 4.15 is actually, this is an LTS kernel, is supported until April 2023. Okay, so the superseded, these guys, you don't really want to be using those anymore. You actually can come over here and you can go ahead and remove some kernels as well. So you have the ability to do that. Now that would remove, if I hit this, it doesn't remove just the little version. It removes the whole thing from the very top level, which is something I don't necessarily want to do. Now I know I won't use 4.18, so I can go ahead and remove 4.18. That's no big deal. Of course, it does want my password, which you do have to enter correctly. So we do have the options there inside of your kernel manager to add your kernels. And I do like the fact that they do give us that Linux kernel 5 out of the box, which I think a lot of the reason they're doing that is that the Linux kernel 5 it's not an LTS, which Linux Mint likes to use, but it does have in it, it will have in it all the newest hardware. So if you're running a latest Ryzen, a brand new computer. So I think that was a good happy medium. They put in the LTS, and then you have the easy ability to go on and actually install the Linux kernel 5. Now there are some options as well. I think some of that's fine. You are seeing that it does want us to set up system snapshots, which I'm not going to do here. We do have other options as well. I was trying to look for where these were, and I haven't found them yet. Maybe it's something that's very easy to find, or I'm just missing. But somewhere in here you can blacklist either packages or kernels. Of course, you could always come over here and ignore the current update, or ignore all future updates for a current package. So that's an option you can do, and you got to this by by right-clicking. So if I wanted to lock in my LibreOffice version, I could ignore this current update, or I could ignore all updates for LibreOffice. Speaking of LibreOffice, let's just go ahead and have a quick look what version we are running with on LibreOffice. That's something I always like to do, and Linux Mint generally works fine. Now there was one bug in the past, and I don't know if they resolved it, where if you were a person that worked with databases, databasing support did not always work out of the box with it. I'm not sure if that's completely fixed. It was a simple fix to it, but just something to be aware of. Everything else would work, and not everyone does databasing. So about LibreOffice, so we are in the, oh really, we're still in the 6.0, really? Debian's version of LibreOffice is newer than Linux Mint's? That's weird. All right, but anyway, it is. I was hoping to be able to come into here. If you are using 6.2 or later, you can actually come over here, and inside of your toolbar layout, you will have the option for a ribbon mode as well, if you like those ribbons. That's actually a little odd to me. I didn't notice that really, because mine I actually use, I use the repos to keep mine always at the latest version, so something there. All right, so other changes. Inside of our Cinnamon itself, we actually have, the first thing is they actually reduced the amount of memory that Cinnamon itself takes by about 30%. Now, right now we're running under 1 gig of RAM, and we have 6 gigs applied to this machine. Now, something though about Cinnamon is if you have more RAM, it will utilize more RAM to speed things up. If you have less RAM, it will utilize a little bit less RAM. So I'm not as concerned about the actual number here in my RAM as I am with system performance. So for example, GNOME, they are getting so much better on memory usage that my memory usage can be really small, but still the system oftentimes runs sluggish to me. And so I like Cinnamon that generally it doesn't run sluggish for me no matter what I'm doing with it. And so I'm not concerned as much with the number of the RAM, but some people will. Now, another new awesome feature inside of this, we have to go into the software manager for this, and we have to install a package. Because we do have GIMP installed here, and let's see what version of GIMP we have. So we are still on version 2.8 of GIMP. That is also an odd choice, but I like that personally because I have found that GIMP 2.10 actually has some bugs in it that actually interfere with my workflow quite a bit. So I actually prefer running GIMP 2.8. But if we were to go into here and we were to look at GIMP in the search here, you see that GIMP is installed, but we should also have a Flatpak version of GIMP in here. And if I don't see it right here, then I'm going to do, I don't see it directly right here. We're going to go ahead and search GIMP directly in the Flatpak. So here is GIMP here. So if you do need 2.10, this one here will get you 2.10, and let's go ahead and install it. And there's method to my madness. So we're going to show you what that is in a second. Now, while this installs, which is going to take a moment, we're going to run into our system settings. And if you head over to your themes and head on over to your options, now we will have the option down here to adjust your scroll bar. So if you want to drop your scroll bar back down, I wish they showed us what the default was, what the old default scroll bar used to be, but you could go really huge. So here's what the scroll bars look like, huge. Or you could go, you know, microscopic. This is what they would look like there. Very hard to use. I think like somewhere around 10 or 11 or so is the default. Now, when you make this change, you have to reset the computer. Like you have to log out and log back in order to see that. But you now can switch the scroll bars, or if I'm not completely sure, I can just toggle this guy off and it will not do that anymore. Now, again, it's going to stay like this until I log out and log back into the system. But you do have the option there to adjust your scroll bars. All right, other options. Inside of your documents, you have the ability to pin. Now, this doesn't work quite as well as Ubuntu's new pinning option. If I remember correctly, I think they had a way to search for pin folders on the side. Maybe my memory's fuzzy. But what pinning is actually going to do is when you pin a document, it will always appear in the top of your list. So I'm going to create some new documents. We're going to go a doc. We're going to go, let's go with ZDoc. And then this guy is a pinned doc. So you'll see here that it'll do by alphabetical order. But if I want to pin a document, it will appear at the top of the list. So if there's photos you wanted to pin, when you navigate into that individual folder, your pinned documents will be at the very top. All right. Let's see. There was actually something else in the context menu, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Did it have something to do with properties, I think, maybe? I don't remember. There was something else there, and I didn't pay a lot of attention to it, which I should have done that. All right, so the other change we're not going to show you here today is Samba shares. If you're setting up Samba shares, they've done some updates to that. It will automatically add itself into the firewall if you have your basic firewall set up, so you won't have to do your Samba shares and then fight with your firewall doing things like that. All right, and while GIMP is still waiting on its final thing, let's go ahead and have a look at the new artwork they gave us. Change desktop background, and let's go ahead and roll this up there just so I can keep an eye on that install. All right, so we still have some of the old classic. Guys. Woo, and then we have a few newer ones. I think this is a newer one. I don't remember seeing this one before. That's pretty sweet. So I think we just have that one basic one. Now, this is, of course, Tina with Terra Tessa Tina. So these are the images we have. Let's see if there's any overlap on these. I'm not sure there are. But down here into Tina, you'll see here that We have some nice new artwork. So here's moss. That's just beautiful. Look at that. I'd say that's more wild wheat, not wildflower, but whatever, you know. Why not? All right, there's some tulips. Very nice artwork. One of the things I really love about Linux Mint is they just give us some gorgeous artwork here. Some lavender. Just one more moment for that GIMP to show up. I want to show you one more major thing there. Lily of the Nile, Blue Mountains. Ooh, that's nice. Snow. Is this the same picture on my Mac Yosemite? I don't know. Let's go ahead and run with our Blue Mountains for now. All right, so where we're getting at here with this guy here is they've added a new feature inside of your menu that if this has been something that has been showed up in the past, where if you have two applications which have the same name, something like a simple text editor, you'll see this just says text editor. Well, there's a few different options you might have that all say text editor. Now what it's going to do is it's going to give you more information. Now, this is actually quite significant because on my main production Linux Mint computer, where I actually do graphic work and web design work and things like that, I actually do have 2.8 and 2.10 of GIMP installed, and you cannot tell from the menu which one's which unless you manually go into the menu and change that. Now, how might you do that? If you just come over here, right-click on the menu, hit Configure, come on over to your menu and open your menu editor, you can actually grab a application and you can rename the application. I think you can rename. Well, you used to be able to, oh, there it is. Yep. So over here, so I can rename the application. So if I could come into here and I can manually set one of my applications as my new application. And then what that would do is that would, I mean, I didn't, apparently I did not get that right. Let me try that again. Now it should show up as that. It might not show up until I reset the system. But what it's going to do now is when we have an extra application installed is it's going to show us more information about it. This is a problem, by the way, with Flatpaks. They take forever to install. All right, now that that's done, let's close this out. Now we come under our graphics. Now we can see that we have more information, so I know which one is my 2.8 and which one is my Flatpak. All right, now the one last update to this, which is not going to be on the system, but it is going to be on your installation media. So you want to keep a copy of your installation media around. They have actually added a boot repair option to our installation media. So if you are having issues with your system, you want to keep that thing around. And if we come down to the very bottom of our information, we'll find the information about it. So here is our boot repair. So this is on the installation media that you get. So if you have some issue where your system will not boot up, you can actually plug your ISO back in and you can run the boot repair on the individual computer. This is actually a pretty big deal. In fact, what I might actually do is I might actually look at this because I actually killed a boot on one of my Linux distros. I'm like, I don't care. I'll mess with it later or I'll just overwrite it. I'm going to try and run this thing and see if it actually works. That'd be an interesting experiment to try. So those are your basic updates to Linux Mint 19.2 beta. As usual, my recommendations, if you're looking for Linux Mint, absolutely do this. If you're already running Linux Mint and you're on 19.1, I would probably go ahead and update. I think that you're going to get enough out of this to make it worth your while. If you're still running an 18.3, I personally am holding my 18.3 computers back on 18.3 just because I think the Ubuntu 16.04 LTS is a better overall LTS than the 18.04 LTS. So if you're running Ubuntu 18.3 and it's not giving you any problems, I wouldn't be as fast to upgrade. If you are running 19.1, I probably would upgrade because you are going to get enough for these updates. So that is the conclusion of what's changed with Linux Mint 19.2. Alright guys, well stick around. We have one more Linux Mint discussion video here after I get through the rest of the comments. We're going to be talking about Linux Mint and 32-bit in light of some of the major discussions that have been going on and some of the Ubuntu issue. I'm just going to read through my comments first and see where we're at, and hopefully I will get to all the comments. We have a lot of people on right now, so I'm not sure I'll be able to get to them all, so my apologies if I miss your comments. Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and jump on over here. Let's see. Thomas Holt, greetings. Would love to have a Switch to Linux hat. As of the last time I went into Add Systems, I did not have the ability to do hats, but I will look into it. I want to hear Tom read a sci-fi audiobook. You can hear me read my other audiobooks if you want. I don't have sci-fi, but, you know. Any word on when Linux Mint Debian Edition 4 comes out? I have not heard anything yet. Greetings, Joe. How's it going there? I have the current Linux Mint. Will I be able to upgrade without uninstalling? Yes. Linux Mint always provides an upgrade path. Usually that information will be out probably right about the time the distribution lands. Usually what it looks like is inside of your Linux Mint update, an update will occur which will add an item to the menu, the same menu where the kernels are at. You'll have the option there to upgrade to the new distribution. That's generally where they put it. So yes, that will be an option for you. I was faster than VirtualBox. Oh. Restart, please. Restart what? Also see, also Jesse, I see that. Notice the thick scroll bar. Yes. Setting up on Linux Mint or Farron always kills the audio settings of Cinnamon. Really? Oh, for a specific sound card. About time to be able to adjust the scroll bar. Yeah, there you go. Install the kernel via kernel manager and update or in the hardware enablement stack meta package. Oh, that's about the sound card. I was going to say, asking me, what? Okay, Linux Mint 19.1 is now version 68. All right. And there is updates in there. It probably does want to update already, but just pulse audio setup, that works fine. Sudo apt update and sudo apt full upgrade. Mint blows up. Mint blows up. No, not Mint blowing up. Okay. Got Astra Linux. Maybe I'll look into it. Neon survives a full upgrade, so can Mint. LibreOffice PPA. That's what I run on mine because I'm a writer. I always like having some of the latest versions of things. Now, anything in the LibreOffice 6 is good, better than the LibreOffice 5, of course. So that's good. And Linux Mint, that's just kind of given IRC. Mint used to update Libre, yeah. Oh, under the preferences in the update managers where the blacklist tab is located. Thank you, Joe. I was referring to Linux Mint Debian Edition because no one is conceptually more like Neon. Yeah. Yeah, Neon keeps the package base with Ubuntu, just always updates the KDE stuff. It's exciting. All right, there's no such as there with the extra thick scroll bar. Yep. Yeah, it is kind of ugly. All right, see you later, Paul. Needs vertical padding on the scroll bar theme, slightly similar to Mint Y. Oh, smaller. In Nautilus, there's starred files, which all appear when you go to starred on the left. Yes. I liked what Nautilus did with that better. That's probably the only thing I like better that Nautilus does. Other than that, like, Nautilus to me is like the worst file manager in the history of file managers. I think Nautilus sucks. Personal opinion, no offense if you love Nautilus. I just find that it sucks. I find it slow, it's buggy, it doesn't work well over networks. That stupid box where they put stuff when you're trying to copy folders completely gets in my way every single time I try to use it. Oh, I hate Nautilus. All right. Anyway. Okay. I use GIMP. Yes, I use GIMP a lot. Meter's Blue Mountains wallpaper always remind people of one sample picture from Windows XP. Snap install taking an eternity. Yep. My brain is dead at typing on keyboard and remembering to check what was typed these days. Oh, I hate Snap right now too. Yeah. I can never understand why they did not identify the version of the menu list. Yep, now they do. Doesn't always save the menu change. Yeah, I think sometimes when you change the menu name, you need to reboot. That's what I found. Snap version would probably already be installed. Hello, Hunter. How's it going there? DT is streaming. I was watching that. Didn't even realize you were on. Oh, no. DT. I doubled up with DT. Not cool. If I knew he was going to be on, I maybe would have moved mine around. Alright. I never understand why they do not identify. Okay, I already got to that one there. Use boot repair to fix Windows Boot Manager if you ever kill Linux on a Windows Linux dual boot. Yep. Lots of things changed. Yep. Turns out boot repair is capable of fixing itself too. Yep. Do you feel Debian offering Cinnamon helps Cinnamon? I think Cinnamon's good either way. You know, a lot of people use Cinnamon. So, like, you know, Fedora uses Cinnamon. There's a lot of things that use Cinnamon. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Brings awareness to it. Wayland be available? I don't know. Hello, Anna Rita. Is Toss? Are you on? Toss? I didn't see Toss jump on. Toss is just hiding around the corner with that chunk open in his caddy. That's it. Alright. Alt Linux LibreOffice has an update today on Mint. Ooh, yeah, maybe I should run the update, see what it's doing. Yeah, 18.2 looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Linux Mint Debian Edition on top of Stretch. Yeah, Linux Mint Debian Edition is built on Stretch. They will probably have a version based on Buster out soon. File Manager, Bash, and LS are more than enough, yeah. Mint is going to be the distro I land on for the big switch from Windows 7. Yep. New to Linux Mint, but for me is good and found your channel. Yeah, Linux Mint's awesome. Thanks for coming along, Jabber. Silver Boy, how's it going there? Whoa, did I hit the bottom of the comments? Who knew? Alright, let's go ahead and I just need to change my titles around a little bit. And we will jump on to our next topic. We're going to be addressing this 32-bit issue because Linux Mint actually has something to say about it at this point. Replace you. Wow, can you guys hear that rain? Cinnamon, but not as much as Mate. Yeah, you know, my backup system is running Mate right now, and I'll tell you what. Every time I run it, I dislike it a little bit more. Right until I realized LibreOffice had an update. All right, is the update giving us? Is it giving us a 1 or 2 update, or is it just a small incremental on the 0? Change from Mint Cinnamon. Well, no. Okay, so Cinnamon is the desktop environment. So you have your basic Linux Mint, which is the one based on Ubuntu core, and they have a Linux Mint Debian Edition, which is also runs the Cinnamon desktop, but that runs based on Debian instead of being based on Ubuntu. So that Linux Mint Debian Edition is a backup in case that Ubuntu does something that is an unforgivable sin in the Linux world, in which case they'll have already know what they're going to jump into, and they can redirect all the resources over there. So you can't switch from one to the other, but what you can do is you can save your home folder, everything in your home folder, including all your config files. You can wipe your system, install Linux Mint Debian Edition, drop that home folder, including the config files, and you won't skip a beat. There might be a few small changes to a few packages, but that's about it. Okay, Linux Mint is kissing 32-bit goodbye, which is sad. Time to move on. Been around more than 10 years. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and jump on into this feed. Welcome back to Switched to Linux. Well, today we want to talk a little bit about Linux Mint and 32-bit. This is a question that came up, especially in light of a few weeks back when Ubuntu had the 32-bit snafu. Of course, they're trying to be like the big boys and big girls, and you know, Microsoft tried to do away with Win32, and it didn't really work out too well for them. Mac did successfully drop it because not a lot of people use Mac. And the way Mac works is quite a bit different. And so Ubuntu is like, hey, let's just drop 32-bit. But the problem is 32-bit is used for a lot of features that people on Linux use. This is a completely different thing than running a 32-bit operating system. So let's go ahead and talk about that really quick, and then we'll talk about what the Ubuntu issue was and what we're talking about here with Linux Mint in light of this. Now, first, you have to consider what is the difference between the 32-bit and the 64-bit operating system. This is based on the architecture of your processor. So your processor can either run a 32-bit or a 64-bit, or there's ARM, and there's other processor codes and feeds out there as well. What a lot of your distributions has done is drop the 32-bit processor architecture, meaning that the system would only run 64-bit operating system. This is not a huge deal because 32-bit processors, other than a few weird and odd ARMY type things, and actually there's been a few processors that are still hitting the market now that are 64-bit processors with a 32-bit bootloader for some reason. Somebody can explain to me a good reason why. I'd appreciate it. But I've seen those as recently as a couple years ago. So a lot of lower end things and small, more handheld type things. But the reality is most of your computers are entirely running 64-bit operating systems at this point in time. There's not a lot of reason to keep a lot of 32-bit operating systems floating around. Now, as long as the background code base is available, a 64-bit operating system can run 32-bit applications. That's what the Ubuntu snafu was about, is they wanted to remove the things that allowed Ubuntu and Ubuntu-based distros by default they wanted to remove the ability to run 32-bit applications. The reason this caused a big snafu is a couple of things that people really use in the Linux community is gaming and Wine for running some Windows applications. Wine uses the 32-bit library extensively, and Wine came out basically saying, yeah, we're just going to drop Ubuntu support, which is a big deal, and that means a lot of people would have jumped ship from Ubuntu. Steam, though, came out and did the very same thing. So Steam comes out with the exact same thing, saying, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're dropping it. We're dropping Ubuntu support if they're going to drop the 32-bit libraries, because a lot of these games still need those 32-bit libraries to run properly. Now, all of this snafu caused Ubuntu to reverse its decision. So while they dropped 32-bit operating systems a long time ago, which is not a huge deal, they did decide that they are going to maintain a 32-bit application system so that you can still run those 32-bit applications, so that Steam and Wine will continue to work. So that's what that snafu was about, and that decision was completely reversed. So that has, and that is completely different than dropping a 32-bit operating system. Now, in light of all of this, why I wanted to bring this up is in the most recent blog post, the Linux Mint team did announce that 32-bit support is going to be dropped. So because Canonical has dropped 32-bit support for the Ubuntu 2004, that means the future of Linux Mint 20 will only be released in 64-bit. So 19X is already available in 32-bit and can continue to still be used until 2023. Most people are happy with this, and dropping 32-bit releases makes sense in 2020. Okay, many questions raised about multi-arch support. Steam, Wine, and other popular applications used in Linux Mint 64 cannot work properly without 32-bit libraries. This is the part that Ubuntu was about. Canonical addressed these, and this will not be an issue. So that is something that, since that information came out, there's no issue with these moving forward. Now, I have a personal opinion and a personal take on this. I think that Linux Mint probably is keen to keep that. If Ubuntu kept it, Linux Mint would have kept it. Since they didn't, they aren't. But I have a sneaky suspicion that my prediction is when Linux Mint Debian Edition comes out, we will probably still see a 32-bit edition of that. And the reason is 32-bit is still available on Buster, Debian 10, which just came out. So since Linux Mint Debian Edition is based on Buster, Linux Mint Debian Edition presently, version 3 is based on 9, which is Stretch. That has a 64 and a 32-bit distribution. My prediction is we're going to see that maintained. So if that is the case and that is true, if you're still running and still need to run a 32-bit operating system, Linux Mint Debian Edition might be the option to look at going forward. Again, that's just a prediction, and I've been wrong about my tech predictions before, but because Debian is still being released in 32-bit, and in 64-bit, in addition to several other versions, we are probably going to see that one retained unless they decide that, hey, there's really no real reason to keep it. But I'm not completely sure I see that that is happening. So that's just my brief prediction about Linux Mint and 32 and a little bit from their blog. So brief summary, as of Linux Mint 20, there will not be a 32-bit architecture for your operating system because the next Ubuntu codebase has dropped it. You are still going to have the multi-arch ability, so you will be able to do Steam, you will be able to do Wine. Anything that still requires 32-bit libraries will still function. And my prediction is when we see the next Linux Mint Debian Edition, it probably still will have a 32-bit, but that is yet to be seen, and I haven't seen anybody talking about that as of yet. So with that being said, let us know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. Don't forget you can help support the channel by having a look at the links that are in the description, including the store link at shop.switchedtolinux.com. Have a look at Patreon, patreon.com/TomM, and thinklifemedia.com, which is my own personal homebrewed support center as well. And we do have several affiliate links, which are also in the description as well. So thanks for coming along, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. All right. I find myself more often using console to browse files than file manager. Rain's coming down here. Yeah, it's still hot out here. It's hot and humid and muggy and downpouring rain. Let's see what my temp is. Looks like it says 77. That's not too bad. So it's LibreOffice 6.0.7.3. All right. Popular by Like Mate with the GNOME 2 layout. There you go. Right. Mom has a 32-bit PC though, yeah. All right. Sure can't boot the 64-bit version of an OS. That's Linux live CDs do. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, if the computer's older, it might. A lot of your computers from about 15 or so years ago, they were both 32 and 64-bit. So check the processor and see what it is. Around 19.1 at 64. Cinnamon, love it. Awesome, very good. A10. I think. Do I have an A10 on this one? I think mine might be an A10 as well. Let me see what I have on this one. Okay, where is my system at? Can't find my system usage. Oh well. I think I actually have a very similar computer to that one, yeah. At least they can work on containers for wine and Steam, yeah. Still use multi-lib. All right. PC was just a temporary replacement because of our old PC that was 64-bit fried. Uh-oh. One in Steam support, Ubuntu, and most because they're the bridge from Windows. Yep. Actually, no. If it can run 64, 64 might actually run better. Okay, even when Ubuntu would drop 32-bit, Mint DE could still support 32, yep. I know on Windows, 32-bit could only support up to 3 gigs of RAM. I'm not sure if that's different on Linux, but I know it's 3 gigs of RAM is what the most 32-bit supports on Windows. Might use Ubuntu flavor, Kubuntu, until they drop the 32-bit support. Yep. Hello, Ashton. How's the Banana Man? Can I install GNOME Shell on it? Like on Linux Mint? Yeah, actually, I did a video about how to install GNOME. Was it just... What'd you have to do? I think you had to install Nautilus separately. No, maybe that was elementary. I think it's just... Let me experiment with that. We got some time. Let me boot this machine back up and let's have a look at it. Shall we? Alright. So I think it's just GNOME-shell. I think. I could be wrong about that, but let's go ahead. That's what my memory serves me. It's probably wrong, but let's go ahead and have a look. Alright, where's my desktop view? Alright, let's go ahead and boot into this guy here. And it runs fine. I did a video series on that. I think I might have done that on Linux Mint Debian Edition, though. I can't remember. Whoa, let's go ahead and boot into Mint. Alright, let's see. Screwing around in Inkscape. Very cool. Inkscape's an awesome application. Alright, let's see what we got here. I think it's sudo apt install. I think it's just GNOME shell. Oh, wait. Whoa. Nope. We're not loading on the right terminal. I don't want to install anything on this computer. There we are. Sudo apt install GNOME shell. I think that's it. Create an external Manjaro hard drive for testing. Very cool. Nope, 3.7 Windows 32 supports. Yeah, I know it was either Vista or 7. My friend had a 32-bit computer a while back, and I wanted to update stuff, and it would not take any more than 3. So, all right, now we're going to log out. And no, so there's something else I still need to install. Let's just look it up. Let's see. Install GNOME shell on, how about install GNOME on Ubuntu? I thought it was just install GNOME shell, but there might be another couple applications I need to do. Yeah, install GNOME shell. Okay, so it's GNOME desktop as well. Let's try that one as well. Okay. Let's just keep light DM. Log out. There we are. There's GNOME. Oh, really? Ubuntu on Wayland? Ubuntu? Oh, Lord. I'm installing Ubuntu on Mint. No! No! I tainted it. I tainted it. All right, so here we are. Here is Linux Mint running GNOME. Of course, I can't tell which one's GIMP and which one's not. And let's see what version we got. Okay, wow. 3.28.2. So a little bit older version of GNOME, but we are running GNOME. Let's go ahead and there's got to be a better way to get there without all the Ubuntu branding on it too. That's just a really quick. Let's. I want to look at one more thing though. What's this do? Does that give me like in a Ubuntu branded version? Oh Lord. Yeah, we got an Ubuntu branded Linux Mint. Yeah, look at that. Woohoo, awesome. So there you go. If you want to make your Linux Mint look like Ubuntu, you have that option as well. So, all right. Hopefully that's helpful for you. So it's GNOME Shell, and it was, now that one was Ubuntu GNOME Desktop. Maybe if I just did GNOME Desktop, I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to look into it. If I were actually doing it for real, I would research it a little bit more. But yes, you can install GNOME on it. Bless you for all your knowledge, your hard work, 11 points of view. Awesome. Hey, thank you, Remo. And thanks for coming by. 4 getting a 32-bit, but some of it gets wasted in CPU. I think we have a debate going on. Do we need to look this up? Okay. So Windows 7, they are saying it's 4 for Windows 7. Maybe it was just their individual motherboard only supported 3. Yeah, that must have just been their individual processor. Because I'm actually showing a Vista Starter could only support up to 1 gig of RAM on 32-bit. Everything else was 4. So yeah, we're going with 4. We're going with 4 for that number. Alright, AMD, because the driver partially open source. Some steel components still primary blobs. Blobs. The blob. Yeah, since I switched to Linux, I won't even look at NVIDIA. I just don't want to fight with it. And since I'm not a gamer, I don't really need all of the advanced stuff. Maybe if I play around with like DaVinci Resolve or something, I might need to think about that a little bit more, but I don't know. New to Linux because laptop can't keep up to Windows 10 using Tessa now. It's a good OS. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming along. Linux. Some ordinary gamers talk about Linux on his live streams the other day. Good to see big YouTubers talk about it. Good. NVIDIA provided Linux distros with drivers. Yep. And for Media GIMP, they are all good. Lots of nightmares. Tainted Mint, yes. No, is a piece of crap. I kind of agree. Make your own Ubuntu branded Mint distro and add all the spyware too. Are there already companies that sell AMD laptops with Linux distro pre-installed? Dell, HP, and Lenovo are the 3 big brands I know of that will install Linux on default. If you want to look at the Linux specific resellers, you want to look at System 76. Pine, and there is one more out there. I forget who they are. And I'm not sure exactly which hardware. Now, I know that System 76 actually does a lot with NVIDIA, but they actually have the know-how and ability to do some very custom NVIDIA stuff. So if you're actually running NVIDIA and you don't mind GNOME, check out Pop! OS. That is a great OS which does a lot of under-the-hood things to optimize an Intel-based system. So needs to make spyware based on Linux. Yeah, it's called Ubuntu. Yes. Fisher Sports 4 gig usability is about 3.7. Yep. We got tired of Debian based distros. GNOME was fixed in the last upgrade. Now it's called Budgie. Well, hey, Cinnamon's also based on GNOME, so you know. GNOME was fixed by both Cinnamon and Budgie. In fact, I'm running Cinnamon on my Arch system. If I don't change that distro soon, which I may not actually for a while, I might just maybe throw a Budgie on. I have GNOME, Deepin, and Cinnamon on it. You know, those are the ones I'm running. All right, let's go ahead and feed a kitty, and then we will, after we feed a kitty, then we will... we'll wrap this guy up when we run out of comments. So, oh, kitty, kitty. Oh, kitty, kitty. Oh, kitty cat. Oh, kitty cat. Let's see if he jumps up. He had a misfire this morning. He tried to jump up this morning, and he missed, and he fell on his face. It was very comical and very sad. Come here, buddy. I'm going to have you jump. And I want you to miss this time, all right? Time your jump right this time. There you go. We don't want to see the kitty fall on his face on a live stream. That's not cool. No, we don't want the kitty to fall on his face on the live stream. No. No, we don't. Oh boy. Go on. You guys stick your paw in there. Stick your paw in there. Oh yeah, we got the paw action. Go on. Go on. Stick your paw in there. Oh, or stick your face in there. Did you get it? I think you got it. Here you go. And Here's another one. And let's give you one more just because you're so cute. One more for being cute. There you go. Oh boy, are the finger looking good? Yeah, the finger looking good. They are finger licking good, aren't they? That's all you got. You want to hang out with us for a while, kitty cat? You want to hang out with us for a while? You're just going to be like, I got my kitty treats, I'm out of here. What do you think? Want to hang with us? Yeah, he's going to hang with us. Yeah. All right, let's see. Top has NVIDIA, but I'm not a big gamer, so it works. The open source, yep. All right, see you later, Farron. I'm on my jar, my tea these days. Pac-Man makes very things so much easier. Yep. System 76 sells Intel, no AMD based. Drew a generic smartphone in Inkscape. They do have AMD desktops though. Alright. My cat is silly. Yes, he is. He is like, yo, human, I'm getting old. Just like you are. So bear with me. That's right. Anything new in 19.2? Yeah, if you came in late, a brief rundown. A lot more information on the kernels, the ability to blacklist certain kernels, and updates. They have 4.15 as the default, but they also have 4.18 and 5 available out of the box, so you can upgrade to those. You can, let's see, in Cinnamon, they've decreased the amount of RAM. The menu now shows you more information, so if there's two applications that have the same name, it'll give us more information. So it tells if it's a Flatpak version or gedit versus, you know, another version of a text editor. We can adjust our scroll bars, we can pin files, and the ISO now contains a boot repair option. So those are kind of the rundowns, and there's a bunch more. You can have a look at the Linux blog for more information. All right, with that, I think we will go ahead and jump off. We will not be having a live stream on Saturday, so we will have our normal live stream tomorrow, Thursday at 7 p.m., and Friday news at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so take a look out for those. Not sure if there's going to be a video at all on Saturday or not, but we'll see what happens. So with that, thanks for coming along, guys. Don't forget to have a look at those links down below for support and other options like that. So thanks for coming along, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.